Welcome to the Jolly Roger. My name's Chef Brian, and today we're going to be making a dessert called Creme Caramel. It's basically a flan with caramel. But first, we need to make our caramel. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pan preheated. We have 3/4 of a cup of sugar. We're going to go ahead and put that in, and I have about half a cup of water. Our pan was a little preheated, so what we're going to do is give that sugar just a little bit of mix. And then once I get it mixed, we are no longer going to stir it. Making caramel is definitely how it's going to crystallize on you. So we got it overhead. I'm going to wait for this to boil because once the water evaporates, we're going to start doing the Maillard reaction on our sugar. It's going to start turning it brown, and we're going to go to a caramel color, and I'll pull it off the heat. But once it starts to come brown, I'll bring you back, and it'll be just a couple of minutes. But you want your heat, I have it about a medium to medium high. If you go too low on your heat, it'll also crystallize on you and you'll have to start all over again. So when I start getting a caramel color, I'll bring you right back. See you in a second. All right, we have just now got out of our water. As you can see, we don't have any more water vapor or steam coming up. And what we are looking for, this is where that Maillard reaction is going to come into, and it's going to caramelize the sugars. That's what happens on proteins. That's how you develop a crust on steaks. And it's the sugars that are going to start to turn brown. And we haven't gotten any color yet, but we are going to really quickly. So this is the point where you don't want to walk away because you can burn this and it would be a complete disaster. Anyway, I'll bring you back when we start to get color. I'll point it out and put you up on the overhead so you can see. Now we're seeing a little color over on this side, not necessarily on this side. We're going to let this side go a little bit, and then once it goes a little bit darker, I can start moving this pan back and forth, trying to even out our caramel. And we're getting there. But do not walk away. All right, so I'm going to start moving the pan itself in a swirling motion just to get that color and rotate to even it out. And then we're going to let it go. But as you saw in the overhead, I did not stir this one bit after we mixed the water and the sugar together. We're developing that darker brownish color, kind of red, caramel color. We're gonna let it go just a little bit longer. And if you wanna see the color, you tilt the pan. But there, I'm gonna call it. Now I have some colder water. We're gonna kill the cooking process. And it does not like this at all. But we'll save it from being burnt. There we go. We'll do a little bit more water just to be on the safe side. There. And there we have it, made caramel. So now that you can see on this side, I have some ramekins over here, and we're going to pour our caramel into these ramekins. Do a little bit more. Now I have different sizes because I only had 3 of the big ones, so those are the more important ones. And I have 3 of the smaller ones. If we can do 3, that would be cool. But I think we might. I'll add a little bit more to this one, to the bigger ones. The little ones are going to be for testing, and the bigger ones are going to be for taste testing, I should say. Now this pan, we're going to move it off to the side, let it cool down a little bit, and to clean that, just boil water into it. It's going to dissolve all that sugar and caramel. It makes it a heck of a lot easier to clean. Also, I wanted to point out that is not a Teflon coated pan. You cannot make caramel in Teflon. I don't know why, but you can. I've tried. So we're gonna let these cool. I'm gonna let them cool down to the touch, And then I'm gonna move them into our refrigerator. We want these completely solid. And then we can move on to making our custard. So I'm gonna get everything set up, cleared away, and I'll bring you back in just a second. Now it's time to temper our eggs. As soon as these cool down a little bit, I don't like putting hot stuff, especially when it's glass or ceramic, immediately into a colder temperature. We are gonna put these in our refrigerator so they become solid, but I don't like risking things to crack and break and things like that. So what I have here is I have 15 ounces of heavy cream and 15 ounces of milk. And then I have 6 eggs. We're gonna scramble those, and I have a tablespoon of vanilla, and I have a little bit of salt. So we're gonna heat our cream and our milk so we can temper our eggs. And we did the same process when we made creme brulees. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up in the description, and you click that right after this. But I'm gonna scramble these. We're gonna bring this up to temp, and I'm gonna clear a little bit out of the way and get on to making this thing. This is one of the best desserts, I can tell you that. We made it for our chef's table at one of the restaurants I used to work at, and people actually just absolutely love it. So briefly, whisk your eggs, and when this comes up to temperature, I'll pull you back. We can temper our eggs, and then I'm gonna separate it, run it through a fine mesh strainer, and then we can fill these when this is solid. So, see you in a minute. So we're bringing up our temperature for our milk and our heavy cream. I'm gonna go ahead and add our tablespoon of vanilla. I'm gonna do a pinch of salt, a little bit more. And this is kosher salt, by the way. And give that a little easy stir. And now we wait to see steam. We need at least 180 to 190 degree temperature to temper our eggs. So that's just gonna take a few minutes. Now our cream and our milk has come up to temperature. I see the steam. That tells me that we're getting close to boiling. So we're anywhere between 180, 190. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. I was gonna turn it on low, and then I changed my mind. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of this cream at a time, and we're gonna keep moving our eggs, and this cream is going to temper our eggs, but we're not gonna scramble. So I'll show you what that looks like. We're gonna do a little at a time. And since I have, quite a bit of cream, I don't wanna pick up the pot and have it spill everywhere. So we're just gonna do it this way. And I am not good left-handed. There we are. And that is tempered eggs. I'm gonna pour the rest of the cream in here in just a second. And I think I can lift this pot. Yeah, it's still toasty. There we go. Pour the rest of the cream in, keep stirring. And there we have it. We moved our ramekins with the caramel in our refrigerator. It's gonna take maybe 20 to 30 minutes to get solid on that. And I'm gonna take this custard, we're gonna strain it. And then we'll be able to fill our ramekins. And I have an oven behind me that is set at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. That should be like around 130 something degrees Celsius. I'll have to Google it and I'll put it up that way. So I'll bring you back when we get ready to strain and fill our ramekins. So we're back. As you can see, my caramel is hard. So we are good to go ahead and fill. I'm gonna go ahead and run this through a strainer real quick, just to pull out anything that we don't want. I'm gonna do a ladle at a time, because pouring from a bowl without a spout, it could get everywhere. Okay, we ran everything through a strainer, and In my last video with the creme brulee, I used a fat separator just to give it a little bit more control instead of just pouring. So that's what we're gonna do this time. And it's gonna make it a little bit easier. You don't have to do it. You can pour it straight from here. It's just, as you can see, this makes it a lot easier to control. And I like that there. And then once we get this done, I'm going to add water to our dish about 2/3 to halfway. All right, so I got my ramekins filled. As you can see, I got some bubbles on top. Since this is gonna be the bottom of our dish, it doesn't really matter, but you know, you want it to look good and do your best. So we're gonna pop some of these. You can do it with a paper towel like I'm doing here. And if you have a blowtorch, you just do it a little pop with that thing and it'll help a lot, but it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's good enough. Because when we go to make these, we're gonna pop them out and then the bottom's gonna be the top, top's gonna be the bottom. So throw that away in a second. I got my water here. And we're gonna go about halfway. If we go a little bit over, it's okay. There we go. Now I'll pop these in the oven very carefully, not to spill. Remember, 275, and very carefully. We just pulled out our creme caramels, and I want to show you how to test if they're done or not. So I have you overhead, and we're just going to lightly tap it. You see that slight jiggle? That means that we're good. Now, to get these out, you're going to want a towel, and we're going to, because you don't want to, this is cold, and we don't want hot and cold, because that, you know, makes cracks and glass and ceramic break. If you don't have gloves like these, that you can actually grab, use a ball jar grabber if you have that. Oven mitt, you can, but I would be very cautious. I'd put another one underneath just in case you slip, because we put a lot of work into these and we don't want these to go and have to redo everything. So these are gonna sit out on the countertop until they become completely cooled to the touch. You should not be able to feel any heat, and use the back of your hand. It's more sensitive to heat than the front of your hand is. And once these become cool, we're gonna put them in the fridge and let them sit overnight, and then we will pull them out and put saran wrap on them, and then they'll be ready for whenever we have service. Not service, sorry, that's restaurant thing. When we have our dinner, and we'll bring you back. We have to wait until tomorrow to taste these. So next time you see me, it's gonna be tomorrow. So I'll see you later. Have a good night. All right, so it's the next day. We pulled them out. If you're gonna leave them in your fridge, because I'm not gonna use these for a couple days, you're gonna wanna wrap these in saran wrap and then just store them in your refrigerator. They're gonna be good for like 7 to 10 days, and you can use them whenever you want. But we need to open one up and taste it. So what I've seen people do, and I've done it before, is use your finger, but some people don't like to touch food. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this spoon, I'm gonna go around the rim, and I'm just slightly pushing down, and we're gonna go all the way across. And I will say, I did forget one thing. I was supposed to spray a little cooking oil or cooking spray into these to make it a little bit easier. But, you know, if it doesn't come out, you can just eat it as is. But we want it to look nice too. So we're gonna flip it over, and a lot of people go up and down. I've seen people go side to side with it, but we're gonna pop it. Cooking spray, remember it if you make this. Boom, look at there. Took a little work, but we got it out. That's the key part. So it looks awesome. I'm so excited about it. Anyway, we need to taste it. So I'm gonna wash my hands, get this caramel off. All right, let's taste this thing. It's gonna be good. It just melts. The texture, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Caramel's good.
Yep, it definitely
And yeah, I love it.
tastes better with the vanilla in it, like last time.
Yeah, I forgot the vanilla last time I made it. So I forget a lot of things. Maybe I should write stuff down. Maybe.
Get a bulletin board.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's the end of the month. We have our jar. We had some awesome selections. And even if you don't win, trust me, we're gonna be using your ideas because we can't constantly keep thinking of stuff. Do you wanna draw?
Yeah.
Okay. So look out for y'all's ideas to come out in the future. All right, what do we get? Sweet, B.H. Ringer. He suggested Strata, which is a breakfast dessert. I had to Google it because I've never heard of it. But sometime next month, I'll have this coming out and we'll see you next time. Y'all take care. Peace. Awesome. Congrats, by the way. And thank you.